Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to discuss a new point. So our channel name is Fundamentals of Engineering. You can subscribe this channel and click on bell icon to get more notification. So in the last point we have discussed the permutation. In the part 1 we have discussed the problem based on the numbers. So what are the problems you will get based on the permutations in terms of numbers that we have seen? The link is available in description box, you can check it. Today we are going to see the part 2, next part of this permutation. There we are going to see the problem based on the words. And this words problem we are divided into two parts, part 1 and second part we are going to discuss in the next lecture. So what we are going to discuss in part 1? In part 1 we are going to solve some numericals based on the words, whether they are repeated, non-repeated, or the repetition allowed and not allowed. So how we are going to discuss that we will see. So hope you are enjoying this session. In the last session you have seen what are the types of permutation problems we are getting in the different types of exam, not only GATE exams but technical and non-technical exams. There you will see the permutation problem, and these problems we are going to solve some shortcut tricks, and these shortcut tricks you will get that we are going to discuss in later part. So stay with us. And there first in the part 1 we have seen the definition of permutation. Here we are going to repeat that definition of permutation. So permutation is nothing but we are making the arrangements of objects in a definite order. Here the members or elements of sets are arranged in a sequence or a linear order. So what we are doing, we are doing the number of possible arrangements. We are doing the number of possible arrangement in a set when the order of the arrangements are matter. And these possible arrangements we are doing based on this formula. We are getting the how many different ways we can arrange that possible arrangement, that is NPR, where this small n is nothing but the total number of objects. In the last lecture we have seen that. Here we are just reminding all the points. And small r is number of objects selected, number of objects selected, and that we have seen based on the example. So you can see that link in the description box or the I section, and based on that we are going to solve the problems. So NPR is equal to n factorial upon n minus r factorial, that is the formula. Sometimes we are using this formula and sometimes we are not using this formula. Instead of using that we are using the shortcut tricks, and based on that we are solving the problem. In the last lecture we have seen the factorial values, how we are going to calculate, and these factorial values you have to remember. You can take the screenshot of these factorial values. These are very much important whenever we are solving the word type of problem. In number type of problem we are required these factorial values, but in the word type of problem we are very much required these factorial values. Why this factorial value we required to remember? That you will get whenever we are solving the number of types of numericals. So my request is to take the screenshot of this all factorial values. If you have taken the screenshot of these factorial values, comment S. If you have taken the screenshot, you can comment S, so that we will move forward. Taken the screenshot? Comment S. Require only 1 to 2 minutes to comment S. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jadhav sir. So you have taken the screenshot of that, and that is required. You have to remember all these factorial values. No need to do the calculation like 7 factorial means we have to calculate 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That is not required. We have to save the time. In exam, we have to save the time. That is why I given these factorial values. And in the last part, we have given the homework to you. Hope you have solved that homework. Now we require the answers for this homework. We require answers for this homework. Example 1, we have seen how many different 4-digit numbers can be arranged using 0, 2, 4, 6 as no digit being repeated. So it contains 0 but not repeated. And example 2, how many different 3-digit numbers can be arranged using 1, 3, 5 and 7 as digit being repeated without 0 and with repeated. So what were the answers for this example 1 and 2? Hope you have solved that homework that we have seen in the part 1 based on the shortcut tricks. Here we have to form a 4-digit number. 4-digit number we have to form, and we are given 1, 2, 3, 4 digits. So how many different 4-digit numbers we can get? Just summarizing whatever the things we are learned in the part 1. If you are not watched the part 1, you can later on watch it. The link is in the description box. You can check that. Here digit being not repeated. We have to get to the answer. So we will check later on by not looking at the whatever the things we are solving. You can simply solve the example and you can understand the concept. That 4-digit number we have to form, and it contains 0 and no digit being repeated. So at first position we can't write 0, that we have seen in the first part. If you are written in the first position at 0, then it cannot be a 4-digit number. So remaining numbers we can write. So how many remaining numbers? 1, 2, 3. So 3 numbers will occupy the first position. Now we can use the 0, but here the no digit being repeated. So if we are choose the second, then we can't use that. So remaining are 1, 2, 3. Again second position 3. So if you are taken 0, remaining are 2, that will be a third position, and only 1 remaining if you are use the 4. So just you have to multiply, and we are getting the answer 3 into 3, that is 9 into 2, 18. 18 possible 4-digit numbers can be formed by using the digit 0, 2, 4 and 6. And here 3-digit number we have to form, and digit being repeated. It not contains 0. Sir, 6 will not be there because 4-digit we need to form. So first position will not contain 0, but remaining numbers will be there. 1, 2, 3. Based on the shortcut tricks we are solving, 3 numbers will be occupied at this first position. So now if we are written 1 number, remaining are 0, 4, 6. We can use 0 now, second, third and fourth position. So here we can use again 3 numbers. How 6? 6 will not be there. Asiya, 6 will not be there. Check whatever the things we have learned. Answer is 18. Answer is 18. 1, 8. Okay, thank you. You got it. Now 3-digit number and all digit being repeated. So all 4 digit 1, 3, 5 and 7 that can be occupy the first position. Now second position, this repeat whatever the digit we have written here, we can use at the second position also, and here in the third position again we can repeat. So we are getting 4 into 4 into 4, right, 4 cube. So what is the value of 4 cube? 64. So answer for the first homework question 18 and answer for the second homework question is 64. Hope you are getting all the points. Now we'll move toward the next part. So in the first part we have seen the numbers. In the first part we have seen the number problem. Now we are going to see in the next part, that is words. And here today we are going to discuss these two parts only, repeated and non-repeated letters, and repetition of letter is allowed and repetition of letters is not allowed. Hope Asiya you have corrected all the points. So now we are going to discuss these two types, and in the next part we are going to discuss always together, means vowels, consonants and other words are always together, and vowels, consonants and other words are never together. Vowels and consonants occupy the odd or even places, that we are going to see in the next part. So here we are going to discuss repeated and non-repeated letters, and repetition of letters is allowed and repetition of letters is not allowed, that we are going to discuss. So we will start today's session. Hope you are enjoying this session. You are getting all the points which we are discussing. If yes, put the comment yes. Can we move forward to start the actual discussion of this today's session? Comment as yes. Okay. Now first type in the word we are having repeated and non-repeated letters. So first we are going to discuss these non-repeated letters, means we are given the question that how many different ways the following words can be arranged, or the word is given, and there we have to see the word which are given, is there any repeated letter. So how many letters are there in the first? 5 letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, S-M-A-R-T, smart. So it contains how many number of letters? Is equal to 5, right? Now we are asked that how many different ways that following words can be arranged, means smart can be arranged. So here see the shortcut tricks. Instead of using the formula we can solve. So how many number of letters are there, that we have to count, how many number of letters which are given, and we have to take the factorial values. We have to take that factorial values. So how many number of letters are there? 5, and we have to take that factorial value. So 5 factorial value, we have taken the screenshot. The 5 factorial value is 120. Yeah, 120. So here we can solve by using the formula also. N is 5, and we can arrange that 5 letter word in 5 ways. So NPR will be 5P5. So we are having the formula n factorial upon n minus r factorial. So n will be 5, 5 minus 5, r is also 5, 0 factorial, 0 factorial value is 1. So we are getting 5 factorial, that is 120. So you can get both ways, we are getting the answer. So here no need to use this formula, it will taking more time. It will taking more time. So instead of using that formula, we can use that point. We can use this shortcut trick. You have to count the number of letters and you have to take the factorial values. We have to take the factorial values. By using that we can solve it. Now what about this second What about this second? So how many number of letters are there? How many numbers of letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 letters are there. So what will be the answer? What will be the answer? Here number of letters are given as 6. So what will be the answer? If you are not getting the screen properly, you can change the setting, go to quality, and there you can select the advanced specific resolution. So whatever the specific resolutions you are comfortable, you can select that, so that you will get the screen very properly. There will not be any blur screen. So what will be the answer? Here in the second we are having number of letter as 6. So we have seen this formula, shortcut tricks. We have to take how many numbers of letters. So if we are taken as n, small n, so answer will be, so possible arrangements. So possible arrangements will be number of letters factorial. So we have taken n, so n factorial. So what will be the answer? Yes, what will be the answer? 6 factorial. You have taken the screenshot of all factorial values. Based on that, give me the answer. Waiting for your answer. What is the answer for this one? 6 factorial. You have taken the screenshot. By using the formula also you can solve it. N is equal to 6, R is equal to 6. But this will take more time. So we are not using this one. We are not using the formula NPR. Instead of that, we are solving by using the shortcut trick. So n factorial, that is 6 factorial. What is the value? Yes, Shraddha, you are right. 720. The value is 720. So instead of doing all the calculation, directly we are getting the answer. If you know the factorial values and if you know the shortcut trick. So write down. Yes, Rushabh, you are also right. 720. Thank you for the answers. So hope you are clear this first point, number of letters. Asiya, you are right. Second, repeated letters. So what is the concept of repeated letters? So if you see the question, how many different ways the following words can be arranged. So first is creator, right? But here you can see the R is repeated twice. So these are the concept of repeated letters. Earlier the example we have seen, there no any letter is repeated, but here the letters are repeated. R is repeated twice. So how we can get the possible arrangements? How we are getting the possible arrangement? Now you can see, first you have to count the number of letters. First you have to count the number of letters. So how many numbers of letters are? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 letters are there. Now what you have to do? Again you have to count the number of repeated letters. You have to count number of repeated letters. So how many times it is repeated? How many number of times the R is repeated? 2 times. Now we can calculate the possible arrangements possible arrangements by using the formula, a shortcut trick. So number of Amrut 7, yes, number of letters, that factorial we have to take upon number of repeated letters factorial you have to take. Number of repeated letters factorial. Yes, Amrut, number of letters are 7 and number of repeated letters are 2. R is repeated 2 times. So we are getting number of letters how many? 7 factorial, and how many times R is repeated? 2 times. So 2 factorial. So 7 factorial value. Now see, we have taken the factorial values, why it is required. Now you are getting. So instead of calculating all the 7 factorial, we can use that factorial values. So what is the value of 7 factorial? You have taken the screenshot. 7 factorial. What is the value? Yes guys, students, 7 factorial value. We can't do 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Instead of that, we know the factorial values, we can directly write down here and do the calculation. Because in the denominator we have to divide with that 2 factorial. 7 factorial we have to divide with the 2 factorial. Yes, 7 factorial value is 5040 and divide with the 2 factorial value. 2 factorial value is how much? 2 into 1, 2 factorial value. So 5040 divided with 2. So 5 2s are 4, 1 remaining, 5 2s are 10, 2 2s are 4 and 0. 2520, that is the answer. So how many different ways we can arrange the created word 2520? Yes, Amrut, you are right, we are getting the answer. Now one important point we have to remember whenever we are having the repeated letter, that we can get by using this second example. So first count how many number of letters. Number of letters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again 7 are there. Now number of repeated letters. Number of repeated letters. Now see here. Here A is repeated twice. Also with A, R is repeated twice. R is repeated twice. So A is repeated twice and R is repeated twice. Right. 720. 7 factorial value is 5040. So A is repeated twice and R is repeated twice. So possible arrangements, what we are getting? Possible arrangements, that is number of letters that factorial we have to take divided with number of repeated letters factorial. So now here the important things to remember. Number of letters how many are? 7 factorial. Now number of repeated letters. Now A is repeated 2 times and R is repeated 2 times. So we have to write 2 factorial into 2 factorial. So number of repeated letters for A is 2 factorial and into R is repeated twice, so 2 factorial. Now here the students are making mistake that they will take, I will write in a different colored, 7 factorial 2 into 2 and their factorial they are taking. For which 210 is the final answer? See what the students are making mistake, I will tell you. 2 into 2 they are taking, that A is repeated twice and R is repeated twice. So 7 factorial upon 4 factorial that we are getting. But this is absolutely wrong. This is absolutely wrong. Yes, 6 factorial value is 720. There is a lag in the chat. That's why I am getting that problem. So 1260, that is the answer, correct. But you can't take this step. 2 factorial, A is repeated twice and R is repeated twice. So 7 factorial value we have written here, that is 5040. Now 2 factorial value is 2 and again 2 factorial value is 2. So 5040 upon 4 we are getting, 5040 upon 4. That is the correct, and based on that we are getting the final answer Amrut has given, that is 1260. But here if you are solving that by using this technique, you will get the different answer, that is 7 factorial value is 5040 upon 4 factorial value. 4 factorial value is 24, and if you are getting, this will be the wrong answer. Wrong answer you will get. And in GATE exam, mostly whatever the things we are solving that question, based on that the answers will be there. So if you are solving by using this method, your answer will be there, but that will be the wrong answer. And if suppose the NAT type questions will be there, if you are getting all the points correct, your answer will be wrong. So this is the correct answer, 1260. So 2 factorial into 2 factorial we have to take it. Hope it clear your doubt. Now we will see the next point, that repetition of letters is allowed and repetition of letters is not allowed. So first we will see the concept. We will see the concepts. So what is meant by repetition of letter is allowed and repetition of letters is not allowed? So we are having this 2 letter word AB. First we will see the repetition is allowed. RA means repetition is allowed. Repetition is allowed means what? 2 letter word we have to arrange in a 2 letter such that the repetition of letter is allowed. Now we can write in a way that AB, BA, and 2 letter word we have to write. So we can write AA 2 times and BB 2 times, because the repetition of letters is allowed. So we can write in a 4 ways when the repetition is allowed. Now the repetition of letters is not allowed, there we can write only AB and BA. Only these 2 ways we can write. 2 ways we can write the words BA and AB. BA and AB we can write. Now here also we can use that concept. Now how many number of letters we are having? How many number of letters? And based on that we can solve that. How many numbers of letters? We have to take the power with the number of letters. Take the powers with the number of letters. So for example, if we consider that number of letters is equal to n. So final answer arrangements we are getting when the repetition of letters is allowed, that is n raised to n. So how many number of letters we have to count and we have to take to that power. And here also if that is repeated letters that we have seen in the last example, R is repeated, so we have to take that factor. We will see in the based on the example. Now here repetition of letters is not allowed, there we have to take number of letters we have to count and we have to take factorial. Means if n is the number of letters, we have to take n factorial. Hope you are enjoying the session. If yes, you can like and subscribe this channel If you are not subscribed, comment in the chat box if you like that. Now we'll solve this example, that how many different ways the channel word can be arranged when the repetition of letter is allowed and repetition of letters is not allowed. Now repetition of letters is allowed. So first we have to count the number of letters. First we have to count the number of letters. How many numbers of letters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 are there, but there is a repeated letters. So number of repeated letters. How many? N is repeated twice. So N is repeated, capital N is repeated twice. Capital N is repeated twice. So possible arrangements. Possible arrangements. So number of letters means N. So N raised to N means we are getting 7 raised to 7. But here the N is repeated twice. You can see here the N is repeated twice. N is repeated twice. So we have to take number of repeated letters factorial here. That will be a 2 factorial. That will be 2 factorial. N is repeated twice. That is why 2 factorial. So 7 raised to 7. So what is the value of 7 raised to 7? So in Gate, virtual calculators are allowed. So by using that virtual calculator, you can get the 7 power 7. So what is the value of 7 power 7? I will write down here 7 into 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't do this. Just put the 7 raised to 7 into the virtual calculator and you will get the answer. So how many 7 raised to 7? I calculated. I will put the answer 823543. 823543 upon 2 factorial, that is 2. So what is the answer? You have to divide with this value and you have to get the answer. So divide 823543 with the 2 and put that answer in comment box. We'll check the next question. So what we have done, number of letters, that is 7. 7 raised to 7 we are getting, divided by 2 factorial, and based on that we are getting. Now here the number of letters is not allowed. So number of letters is not allowed. Repetition of letters is not allowed. So we are having number of letters, that how much are there, that factorial we have to take. Now here repeated letters are there. So based on that we have to divide. So number of letters are 7. We have to take 7 factorial upon 2 factorial. 7 factorial upon 2 factorial. So 7 factorial value is, we have already seen 7 factorial value as 5040. Most of you have given in the comment box. You have to remember all factorial values. 2 factorial value is 2. So based on that, what is the answer we are getting? 2520. These answers you have to give in the comment. You have to give the answer in the comment. You have to divide this value, that is 8,23,543 with a 2, and you have to put that answer in the comment box. You have to put that answer in comment box. And this is the repetition of letters is not allowed. Based on that we are getting the answer. We'll see another example. When we are given the word design, we have to find out different ways we can arrange that when the repetition of letters is allowed and repetition of letters is not allowed. So first we will see the repetition of letters. So for that we have to count the number of letters, that is N. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 letters are there. Is there any repeated? So no, there is no any repeated letter. So first repetition of letters is allowed. Based on that, how many number of letters, that we have to count, and based on that we have to take the power of number of letters. So n raised to n, that is 6 letters are there, 6 raised to 6. So what is the answer? 6 raised to 6. 6 raised to 6, that is the answer as 46,656. 46656, that will be the answer when the repetition of letter is allowed. So how many different ways design words can be arranged? 46,656 times we can arrange the design word when the repetition of letters is allowed. Now repetition of letters is not allowed. RNA means repetition of letters is not allowed. So how many numbers of letters are there? How many numbers of letters? We have to take that factorial value. So how many numbers of letter? There are 6, and we have to take that factorial value. 6 factorial value we know, most of you have given in the comment box, that is 720. That is the answer. So repetition of letters is not allowed. That way we can arrange the designed word 720 times. 6 factorial value 720 times we can arrange. So there we have seen the different points when in the word the repetition of letter is allowed and repetition of letters is not allowed, and repeated letters and non-repeated letters. Based on that we have seen the example, and based on that only you have to solve that homework problems. You have to solve this homework problems. So first example for the homework, how many different ways the word function, function, function can be arranged such that the repetition of letters are allowed and repetition of letters are not allowed. So both way you have to get, and you have to comment that answers in the comment box or in the chat box. And second example, how many different ways the word engineer can be arranged. So engineer can be arranged. So directly word is given. So now you can see in the first type, here the repeated letters are there. Repeated letters are there. So E is repeated thrice and N is repeated twice. N is repeated twice. So repeated letters. So first you have to count the number of letters. You have to divide with the repeated letters. Based on that you have to solve that. Hope you are getting all the points. Yes, Asiya, you are right. Thank you. Second is 720. Yes, correct. You have to solve all the homework problems. These 2 problems are there. Just you have to understand the concept, and based on that you have to solve that. Hope you have enjoyed the session and you are getting all the points. Whatever the points we have discussed, not only these examples will be there, but based on that you will get in the exam, not for the technical but non-technical exams also. For the banking or any types of placement exam, you will get these types of examples. And if you are solving for the gate, we required 1-2 marks very easily, and that you will get by using this general aptitude permutations. You can see how in a less time we have solved that question.